The first job we were ever asked to do was Energy City, which was made for Southampton City Council. My colleague Alan Hayward was a photographer, still is a photographer, and he was based in the New Forest in Minstead. And the two of us, we called ourselves Hayward Associates at the time. He produced the pictures and I produced the soundtrack. But together this was our first commercial job. And soon after I changed the name of my business to Focus.
This same natural harbour to embrace them. As the ancient Britons, in their hilltop settlements, watched over this inlet of the English Channel.
We were asked to make the programme for Southampton City Council by Malcolm Grosvenor, who was their then public relations officer, and he asked us to make this programme to fit in with Offshore 80. And the exhibition was staged in the old Ocean Terminal building in Southampton, which had been in existence since, I think, the 1930s. It was iconic and used for all the transatlantic liners back in the day.
Denmark, who invaded and pillaged. And the Normans from France, who came, conquered, and left many of the buildings and streets of Southampton today.
The important thing to know is that this programme was made entirely of slides. All the visuals were 35mm slides. And this was the way things were done in those days. So it was made with 4 projectors. That gave us the possibility of being able to do much more than just simply having 2 projectors. Remember, this was before the days of PowerPoint. So, as you see, we're dissolving from one slide into the other, but much more complicated things are going on, layering captions over the top and various other things. Those are all coming from different slides, and the way it was put together involved a huge amount of trial and error. We had a soundtrack. All the slides were locked to this soundtrack, and we would put in either dissolve or cut commands into the technology that drove the projectors. But what you're looking at now, of course, is video. So having projected it as slides, and I have to say they were really quite impressive in the exhibition, but converting all this to video involved using a system called a multiplexer. And we took this and all our subsequent productions up to London to a facilities company called Molinare, and they had this thing which actually had facilities for 8 projectors, but we only needed 4 of them, and that then converted the slides onto videotape. I think it was U-matic in those days. All the text that you see on the screen, of course, was Letraset. Do you remember Letraset? Like transfers that you would take off of and you would stick those onto paper. And those images were then photographed using what's known as lithographic film, lith film, which gives you a very, very black and white, just a straightforward, either it's black or it's clear. And then a coloured film, would be laid across each line of the text. Oh, how tedious. And of course, they all had to register if they faded one slide into the other. They all had to be in registration so that the top line wouldn't move when the second line was mixed on, because that was on a separate slide. Oh, it was chaotic. It was tedious. It was terribly tedious. Of course, this isn't just simply a one-off promotion for the oil industry. It actually gives us an idea of what Southampton was like back in 1980. The university, the new developments, the docks, all of which have moved forward. I don't think they've necessarily disappeared, but they've moved forward.